What's going on, everybody? Today we are sitting in a beautiful Genesis GV80. This happens to be a 2022 model, and today I'm going to tell you how to use the Smart Cruise Control, the Lane Following Assist, the Navigation-based Smart Cruise Control, and the Highway Driving Assistant. That sounds like a lot of information, but I'm going to boil it down the best I can. So we're going to start with the Lane Following Assist. That is controlled with this button right here, the little steering wheel with the lane lines on it. That system operates independently of any of the other systems that I just mentioned, and you'll know it's on because that little steering wheel shows up on the screen right there. When the steering wheel is white or gray, as it is now, that means that the system is sort of on and available. When it turns green, that means the system's actually active and doing something. And what the Lane Following Assist does is it uses the car's camera up here to read the lane lines, and if it can read the lane lines, it can kind of gently control your steering to keep you in your specific lane. So that works independently from all the other systems I just mentioned, but it is a pretty cool system and it works very well with the Smart Cruise. Now, the Smart Cruise itself, what that does is it enables the car to maintain a distance from the car in front of you and bring the car to a complete stop. So this is a lifesaver in stop and go traffic. Standard cruise control, you set the car at 70 miles an hour. It just goes 70 miles an hour until you hit something or you hit the brakes. This one, you can set it at 70 miles an hour, and if there's nobody else around, there's nothing else going on, it'll go 70. But if it sees a car in front of you, it will slow down and pace that car. So the way that system works, when you get on the road and get the car up to speed, push this button, the little car with the clock on it, that's actually a speedometer, to activate the system and set your speed initially. That's the way I do it. And then the plus right here increases your speed, the minus decreases your set speed, and then the pause and rewind thing, this is cancel or resume. So if we push down on this little switch, it'll either cancel or resume the cruise. So for example, if the car brings itself to a complete stop and it's stopped for more than 3 seconds, you push that to resume driving or start moving forward again. You can also just tap the gas pedal and that will reactivate the Smart Cruise Control. Or if you want to cancel the cruise control, you can push that button while the cruise is active, or you can hit the brake. Either one works. This button right here, the little car with the sonar coming out of the back of it, that's actually to adjust your following distance. So for a longer or a shorter following distance, when I'm in an area with heavy traffic on the freeway, I always use the shortest following distance so people don't get in front of me that much. If I'm out on the open road and there's not as much traffic, I will use one of the longer following distances. Okay, so let's talk about the Highway Driving Assistant and the navigation-based cruise controls. Navigation-based Smart Cruise Control, I should say. So what we want to do here is go right here where it says Setup. And then once we're in Setup, Vehicle, Driver Assistance, Driving Convenience, Highway Drive Assist on, Highway Auto Speed Change on. All right, so the Highway Driving Assist, the HDA, what that does is it allows the Lane Following Assist to be a little bit more proactive. If it sees that a car is kind of incurring into your lane, it can help you swerve around that. And the other big thing it does is when you're in heavy stop and go traffic, the Highway Driving Assistant, I would always have that on, because instead of requiring driver intervention after the car being stopped for 3 seconds to get it moving again, when the Highway Driving Assist is active, the car will start moving again on its own after 30 seconds, up to 30 seconds of being stopped. So that makes that a lot more convenient. Now, the navigation-based Smart Cruise Control, you have to make sure that Highway Auto Speed Change is activated. I'm going to be honest, I really like Genesis cars. This is actually the first one I've driven, but I really like it. I've driven several new Hyundais. I like them too. I have nothing against the product. That feature is dumb. So the way that it works is when you have the Lane Following Assist and the Smart Cruise Control on, and you are on a highway or controlled access road that is programmed properly into the navigation system in the United States or Canada, and you have the Smart Cruise Control system set to the exact speed limit on the road. So if the speed limit's 65, you have to have it set to 65. The navigation-based Smart Cruise Control does two things. If you enter a zone where the speed limit has changed, like it goes from 65 to 55, it will automatically adjust the speed that the Smart Cruise Control is set to the new speed limit on the road, as long as that information is programmed into the navigation maps. And if you are coming up to a curve that it thinks you're going too fast to negotiate, like if you're on a road where the speed limit's 55, but it comes up to a sharp curve, it will slow down and negotiate that curve at a lower speed. I have gotten the highway auto speed change to work. I haven't found a highway in Southern California where I live to get it to slow down for a curve. I'm not even going to demonstrate that. You can leave it on. It really doesn't come into play that much when you're using the systems. So with all that being said, I'm going to demonstrate the Smart Cruise Control system for you now. All right, so we are on the road. I'm going to push the little button with the car and the clock on it to set my speed. And I'm going to bump up on the plus guy to increase my set speed. So my set speed is at 40, the speed limit is 40. We are locked on to the car in front of us. I'm currently using this system on surface streets just to kind of demonstrate it. In my regular life, living with and driving cars, I don't usually use the system on surface streets. I usually reserve it for highway driving, but it does work on the surface streets. Now you'll notice here, the steering wheel is green. It turned white because we went through an intersection and now it's green again. So that means my lane following assist is active because I am in a lane where it can read the lane lines, and it'll give me a little gentle tug on the steering wheel to kind of keep me centered in the center of the lane. That is a feature that I like quite a bit. I currently have my following distance set at the second shortest following distance because no need to tailgate while we're in town. And we are just cruising along. Now, a few things to keep in mind when you're using this system. The car's kind of sensors and cameras can get messed up if it's very heavy rain, snow, fog. So if it's limited visibility, you might not want to use it then. The vehicle in front of me just came to a complete stop. I didn't hit the brake. I didn't do anything. The car came to a stop on its own. And now it's telling me that I will have to use the switch or the pedal to accelerate. So when this car starts moving, we will just push down on that button and start moving again. But yeah, you want to just be mindful of the conditions that are going on. You know, if it's really rainy, really snowy, whatever, you might not want to use the Smart Cruise Control. You might want to just drive the car yourself and be careful. You also want to keep in mind what sort of a vehicle you're following. So I am currently behind a Honda Accord. The car won't have any issue figuring that out. But the example I always use, we have a green light, so we're just going to push that. And we accelerate. The example I always use is a flatbed truck with nothing in the bed. So is the car locked on to the actual back of the truck, or is it locked on to the back of the cab? So in situations like that, always kind of keep an eye on the following distance. If it seems abnormally close, either set a longer following distance, again using this button right here, or just hit the brake and disable the Smart Cruise completely. Now we came to a brief stop there. The Smart Cruise did that, and it was not brief enough to require my intervention to start driving again. So it got moving on its own. That is really where this system does its finest work. when you are in heavy stop and go traffic, it's just a fantastic system. It's not self-driving. You still need to pay attention. You still have to have your hand on the steering wheel. But it makes life so much less stressful when you're in stop and go traffic or other situations like that. It's really one of my favorite features in new cars, which is why I try to make these videos and make it easy for people. All right, now I'm gonna hit the brakes because we have road construction. So now I hit the brake, I'm controlling everything. I hit the gas, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push down on that button to resume. So now my cruise is resumed because I hit the little button with the pause and the rewind thing on it. The rewind thing is supposed to be resume on that. And we are just cruising along. We're gonna change lanes again. Now at this point, it's not locked on to the car in front of me. You can see the information. Oh, never mind, I lied. It just did because the car in front of me is slowing down and I'm slowing down. And it's a beautiful thing. Messing around with the zoom a little bit. If you have the smart cruise control set and you're cruising and let's say you were going a little faster, cruising at 60 miles an hour, and you're coming up on stopped traffic, don't rely on the system. I'm going to hit the gas pedal and start moving again. Don't rely on the system in a situation like that to come to a complete stop. Only rely on it to come to a complete stop when it's locked onto the car in front of you and the car in front of you is slowing down gradually. It's not meant to detect stationary objects. Obviously, the car does have its own emergency braking systems that could detect stationary objects and apply the brakes to prevent or lessen the severity of a front-end collision. But you don't want to rely on that if you're using the Smart Cruise and you're cruising and you're coming up to stopped traffic in a car you're not locked onto. Just go ahead and hit the brakes. Somebody's trying to call me. I don't want that. Uh-oh, I'm gonna hit the brakes because I don't want to run that light. So, that's the other thing. It doesn't know from stoplights. So if the light's red and you've got the Smart Cruise Control set, unless it's locked onto the car in front of you and the car in front of you stops, it ain't gonna stop. So when you get a red light, you gotta hit the brakes on your own. And that's pretty much the basics. Push that button to use the lane following assist. When the little steering wheel is green, it will lightly control your steering. Push the little car with the clock on it to activate the Smart Cruise Control system. Push the little car with the radar beams coming out of the back of it to adjust your following distance. Use that up and down, that toggle switch with the plus and the minus to increase or decrease your speed. Press to cancel or resume the cruise control, and when it comes to a complete stop, press to cruise again or hit the gas to cruise again. And it's just that easy, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Always pay attention to the road, keep your hand on the wheel, and drive safely. Bye-bye.